Hey guys, it's Dayna. Welcome back to episode 17 of the Farmhouse Knitting Podcast. I'm your host and I talk about knitting. I want to show you some projects I'm working on. I do not have any finished projects today, but that's because I had to unravel 2 of them, which is very sad. But also good news is that besides this podcast episode this week, I also did a video about how I dyed some yarn using mulberries this past weekend. So that plus unraveling 2 of my projects is kind of where the time went this week. And hopefully I'll have some more progress to show you guys on some of these next time. I do have 2 socks that I'm working on, a blanket, a baby blanket. I'm going to show you my dyed yarn that I did with the mulberries. And then I have something Christmassy I'm working on. And my yarn just came for that, so I want to show that off to you guys. I don't have very much on the needles, nothing really to write home about with that, but I wanted to show you guys and maybe get you in the Christmas spirit, because as soon as it arrived in the mail, I just got really excited for Christmas. So I'm going to share that with you guys. I am going to show you my very first thing, which I guess is half finished. I have some socks I've been working on, which is just the vanilla sock on 9-inch circular pattern from Crazy Sock Lady. And I posted about this last episode, how I turned it into a Shorty sock because I saw someone on Instagram do that, Mandy's Makings. And so I do have one finished sock to show you, and I used the Knit Picks Stroll Fingering in Reindeer Heather for this one. Thank you to Monica, thank you to Monica, who I met up with at our local library just a few towns away, and she actually let me have this sock blocker and a couple others, and that was really, really sweet of her because I didn't have any, and she knew that, and I was just very sweet of her. So thank you, Monica. Thank you, Monica. I don't know what that was. But now I have a sock blocker. I haven't blocked it. I just stuck it on here to show it off. But that is sock 1. And I started sock 2, and I just basically have pretty much the cuff done. And so for making these Shorty socks, I'm just doing 15 rows of the ribbing. There's barely anything to show you. It's progress, guys, I promise. So I did 15 rows of the cuff, and then I'm gonna do about 10 rows. I think the other sock was 10 rows, and then I'll go into the heel. And I already talked about my love affair with this heel and how well she writes that in the pattern. And so that is my first project to show you guys. I have it here in my llama bag, which is a llama wearing, I think on Instagram they were calling it a skein crown or something like that, where this is just multiple balls. But you know how they had like a lot of people were taking pictures with the skein crown? I decided that I need to invest in some project bags, because what I end up doing is, I'll show you. It's very inefficient. I keep this on our coffee table, and inside is just like all the projects I'm working on. So it's all where I can see it. It's just not organized by each thing, and really the only portable bag I have ready to bring with me somewhere is this one with my socks and this cool summery bag that my mom actually got me. I think she said she got it at like TJ Maxx or something. it was just this cool little tote, and actually what's really cool is when you're not using it, it folds up and it's this tiny little fruit-shaped bag. And so yeah, if you have any project bags that are your favorites and come in different sizes, let me know in the comments, because I've never bought like a handmade project bag. It's all been like this kind of thing, like this. I have no idea. I'm guessing like Joann's or something is where my mom found that. But inside my fruit bag, I do have some progress on my blanket that I'm working on for our baby boy. And this is the Woodland moss pattern for the baby blanket by me. And I kept my progress keeper on because I wanted to know how much I actually worked on since last episode. So you can see my progress keeper is way down here. This cute little skein from Knit Picks. So I've done like, I think a ball and a half of Line Brand Woolies Thick and Quick. This is just charcoal. And all I'm doing is an Irish moss stitch with this. And I wanted to, oh, that's heavy. It's an October baby, so hopefully heavy is good. Got me out of breath there. It's bulkier yarn than the pattern called for, so I just kind of adjusted the size. And it's going to end up being about 25 inches wide, hopefully about a square, but this was stash yarn. I didn't want to have to go and buy more. And so we'll see how close to being a square I can make this guy. But like I said, that's about a skein and a half, or I guess a ball and a half of the Woolies Thick and Quick. And I feel like I'm cruising through my projects today. Okay. This is crazy. I don't usually go this fast. I usually ramble and talk. I'm all tired. Okay, here comes the rambling. I'm all tired out because we went to the park this morning and it was this really cool nature playground. I won't ramble more, but I'm all tired out. I will say one more thing. I forgot to put the stroller in the car, so I had my 14-month-old that I was trying to carry. I'm pregnant, so I got a big belly, and so I was all tired out. Knitting. We're on to knitting, I promise. Okay, I shared my socks. Okay, I have another pair of socks, and I'm so excited to share these with you because, catch my breath, because this is actually yarn that I hand dyed. I think this was my very first, either first or second hand dyeing attempt. So this is, I want to say, I know it's Knit Picks, and it was Knit Picks Bear, which, by the way, they have a sale, 25% off all their bear yarns until Monday, June 20th. So I'll put the link down below if you want to go get some. And also, I don't have a tutorial on YouTube, but the mulberry video I do. So if you want to specifically dye one of those colors. But anyway, this is either the first or second. I had done walnut and I had done avocado at this point. This is dyed with avocado, and I'll try to hold it still. I get really excited. I noticed watching the mulberry video that I just keep moving the yarn around. So I'm going to try to hold it still. Avocado, I used 2 of the skins, 2 pits, and I wrote down Wool of the Andes worsted, but it doesn't really feel, it might be Wool of the Andes. It's definitely worsted, definitely not fingering weight, but this is, it turned out such a pretty like blush pink color. And what I did was I followed the blog post that, if I can find it, I'll also stick it in the link. It was by Woods and Wool, and she had a blog post all about dyeing yarn with avocados. So I followed whatever direction she had for using 2 avocados, if you want to know like the exact timing. And what I'm making with this is my very own pattern for socks. Because after I did the other socks, the vanilla socks, and did their heel, the Crazy Sock Ladies heel, I realized that that's the heel that I want to have on my socks. So these are the start. So it'll end up being cuffed down. The start of my country cabin socks that I'm very excited to be working on and reworking. I already have the pattern done, but I was like, I'm going to make it with my really cool hand-dyed yarn, and I'm gonna rework the heel, finish the pattern. Going to finish this pattern before the baby gets here. This pattern has been in my notebook for over 2 years, and I've done nothing with it other than make myself and everyone under the sun a pair of socks for Christmas. And now it's time to release this out into the world before the baby gets here. So that is my, like I said, I did name it. It's the Country Cabin Socks. It is a work in progress, and I'm using size 7 needles, and I think this is Wool of the Andes. I'm gonna have to check my notes to make sure I remembered what I dyed with, but for sure it's the Knit Picks Bear yarn. They're the only ones I've bought bear yarn from, and I've been very happy. I've been very happy with their bear yarns, and so like I said, head over to that sale if you want to try dyeing something. Even if you just do Kool-Aid. I did Kool-Aid yarn. Otherwise, everything else was just from the grocery store or from our backyard. And so I wanted to share two more things. I'm flying through, but not that fast. I did want to, if you want to see a further in-depth look, I do have the mulberry video, but I did want to show you guys how my mulberry yarn turned out. So what I ended up doing is, this is the Stroll fingering weight from Knit Picks. That was the bear yarn. It comes wrapped up like this. And what I did, this took about a full 24 hours. And once I had the dye ready, I decided I wanted to make it tonal, which I don't know if you can see how it's wrapped up. I ended up wrapping it. It's kind of messy, but so part of it's lighter and part of it's darker, and the darker I left in for the full 24 hours, and then I just had half of it draped into another pot that stayed out for 2 hours and then was put into the full pot. So about 22 hours for the lighter and 24 hours for the darker. And then I feel like I have like eyelashes. I'm just like distraction. Mulberry yarn. So this is 462 yards. I'm planning to, I think, make socks with it. And I'm still kind of new to the fingering sock weight life, and so I'm not really sure how much 462 yards gets you, but I could just do another pair of Shorty socks. I also have, I don't think I have the Shorty sock pattern from Summerly Knit, or Summerly Knits is her name, I think. And then but I do have her I'm So Basic socks that I also really want to work on. That's on my list. And so this was really, really fun. It was special. My husband and my daughter went out and they were picking the mulberries, and they let me take some video of them. And then it was really cool. It was kind of like a tag team project, because my husband would come in every once in a while and like stir the water, mush not the blueberries, mush the mulberries. I was like, he's interested in this too. He just does it passing through, like, you know, like if you leave a puzzle out on the table, everyone will kind of walk by and like put a piece here and there. He was kind of doing that with the yarn, and I thought that was kind of cool. Okay, I showed you my 2 hand dyed, so I'm gonna show you them side by side. One is in a skein, and one is once I wound it into like a cake, except it got all messy. So those are the 2 colors of the hand-dyed yarns that I've made so far. I have walnut floating around somewhere. I think it's in the yarn hutch. But I have the dyeing bug, and I've already talked about this. I want to go hand dye all my yarn. And one thing is that I heard someone say they practiced a lot on like old vintage, well not vintage, but like thrift store sweaters. They just broke apart and practiced on that. So all these other things I want to do, especially from our garden, it will be really cool to just kind of practice without having to go buy yarn every time. Although if there's a 25% off sale, I'm gonna probably do it. In fact, I do have more yarn to show you. It is my last thing to show you. Let me check my notes. Yes, I do have this, my last thing to show you. It includes some bear yarn. I told you guys in last episode 16 that I decided it is high time that I make some I can't think of the word, Christmas stockings for our family. And so Ursula from She Thinks She Can on Ravelry, and also on Instagram, has like 8 or 9 patterns for these stockings, different styles, and so I picked 7 of them. One for everyone in our family plus our dog. And I just ordered the yarn that she had suggested. I did change the colors though. So instead of a really bright red and like an ash gray, I chose kind of a more, I don't know, it's called Garnet Heather. It's kind of just a more rustic yarn, a rustic red, I think. And then I chose Aurora Heather instead of the gray. And that is the Knit Picks palette yarn, is what she had used in the pattern. So I've got my red, my green, and then, even though I'm not going to use it for dyeing, this is the palette Bear, which would be on sale right now. I already got it, I don't need to go buy more, but if you need to get some and you want to make some stockings and you're like, this is the color, then go for it. But this is the palette Bear. So I think those 3 together is gonna make some pretty cozy, farmhousey Christmas stockings. And I ended up ordering, let me see if I can find my notes, 7 of the green, 7 skeins, 7 balls of the red, and then 4 of this, because this has 436 yards and the other 2 are 231 each. So whatever math I did, which hopefully is right, math is not my strong suit, but I did run it past my husband, who's a chemist and a scientist, so hopefully he's got me on the right track. Hopefully I don't have to go buy some more yarn when I'm halfway through the project, because I am notorious for doing that and just guessing wrong, because when I do it without asking for help, it's mostly an educated guess. But like I said, I did ask him for his help, and I did start. I know I said I was gonna wait until I finished one of these other projects, but that box of yarn showed up on our front porch and I had to open it, and my mom was over and my sister was over, and I had to open it and I had to show them it, and I was so excited. And of course then I had to cast it on. Now I don't have very much progress done at all, even less so than the vanilla socks that I'm working on, but I'm so excited I just had to show you it. So I would have more done than this, except I started myself on 9-inch circular needles like I would for socks, not thinking that this is, instead of 54, 56 or whatever it was, stitches, I'm casting on 120 stitches. So it was all bunched together. It would have kind of worked, except as you're doing color work, it just kind of gets bulkier, you know? And so I feel like already I was trying to make sure the stitches didn't fall off either needle, but then as I added color, it was just really bulky. So changed to these needles, which I actually don't know what size they are. I don't know the length, but they are still the size 3. Oh, you know what? I don't have a size 2. I think the pattern says size 2, and I'm using size 3 because that's what I have. And I hope they turn out okay, but they don't have to actually fit anybody, so it's just a stocking. Hopefully going up a size is gonna be okay. And I am trying to be intentional about holding a tighter tension because I kind of do have a looser gauge. So hopefully these are not ginormous. They have to fit on our railing, which is like, it goes up half the stairs and then there's walls. So I've got to fit them pretty much right there. So this was fun. This was very confusing at first. I got like 4 rows in before I realized, hey, you need to change the needles. And I have never done the corrugated knitting, corrugated, what is it called? Ribbing? I don't know if it's getting it. Doesn't really want to show, does it? Oh, and I'm showing you the wrong side. Where is my camera? I don't know if that's picked up at all. But I've never done the corrugated ribbing before. And so I think I thought I was doing it right, and also like, hey, this is a nice time-saving hack where so you knit with the red and then you purl with the bare. And so, but you want to make sure both yarns are on the same side every time. So if you're knitting, the red and the white go behind. If you're purling, the red and the white both go in the front, but you're only using the one color. So what I was trying to do, because I didn't look up a tutorial, I was like, oh, I think I wrapped my brain around what I'm supposed to do, but I did it wrong. So what I was trying to do was when I knit, I had the red in the back, but I just kept the bare in the front, thinking like, oh, if I'm purling with the bare, I'll just always keep it on the front side, and if I'm knitting with the red, it'll always be on the back side. Because then all you can see is the purling, because that's what's in the front all the time. So now I'm ready to get cruising. I did follow though the instructions by, I don't remember the YouTube video, but when I did finally go look up how to do this, a video came up and it said, when you're going to do this, first do a row of knitting where you're changing colors. So like knit red, knit bare, knit red, knit bare. And then in the next row, you're going to switch to knit red, purl bare, knit red, purl bare, because then you don't get that bar in the middle, which it's been a while since I've done color work like this, so I completely would have forgotten. I would have had to tear this out a 3rd or 4th time. So now I think I am cruising on it, and that's good because like I said, I tore out my vest. Okay, I had to sit back. Oh, got a lot of pressure. I tore out the Millie tank top that I was working on from Millimia because why did I do that? Why did I? Oh, I was using circular needles and it was becoming really hard to do, especially the purl side, because for the color, since you're knitting it flat, you're doing color work, knitting side and purling side. And with the flexible part of the needle, that was just not working for me. And normally I'm one to prefer using a circular needle over straight needles, but with this, I decided I needed to switch over to that. Also, I realized that following the color chart, I was following the wrong size. So definitely not a project I can do while I'm like listening to someone else or just like watching TV or anything like that. I have to actually focus on it. It's not an easy just sit and knit project. So tore that out. In the process of moving it to bigger needles, or not bigger needles, straight needles. And so hopefully I will be able to show some progress on that next time. And then what was the other thing I tore out? Tore out the stocking. That must be the only other thing I tore out from last time. But I cast on something new that I hadn't been planning on doing at all. So yeah, that's the only thing I tore out. Last time I had a couple other finished things, but this week I did a lot of frogging, and that's okay. I would rather frog it and be happy with how it's going to turn out than just power through and have it be miserable while you're making it, because that's no fun. So I think that's all I had to share with you guys. I'm trying to be good and get on here every week and give you guys an update. Otherwise, months go by and suddenly I'm like, oh. But that was because I wasn't knitting. I wasn't knitting and I had morning sickness. But want to make sure I told you everything I wanted to. That's all. That's all I have for you guys today. It was a pretty short and sweet one. I don't even really have any chit chat to share with you guys, I don't think. Nothing really exciting has happened since last week. We've just been outside a lot. We cleaned our swimming pool, and that's about all. Like I said, just trying to recover from the park this morning. So I'll see you guys next week. I will, fingers crossed, have a lot of more progress to share with you guys, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching this short and sweet episode. I'll see you guys.